Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Tennis Manager. We're on episode 64 after completing our short-term objective of getting everything controllable at 13 plus, which of course you can see that here in our report. My next short-term target is to get the easy points, get the easy upgrades, because we already have a good player and every little attribute point counts to make us that much better. So we have a number of attributes that are 60, 70, 80, even 90% along the way. We're going to start with those that are closest to leveling up, and then we're just going to take all those easy ones before we then reassess and see what's next, what's the next target. That means first up at 95% is Backhand Accuracy. Yemafanova in the final for a 280 tournament. Let's see how she does with this one. She beats Takari in the semi 6-2, 6-1, which is really comfortable. She loses the final to Havkova. It's a really good player, but to get that far and get to the final in a 280, I mean, that's pretty high level for the young player. Goff, I think, was in the same tournament and was out in the second round. Mostly 140s for the team this week, and they're all doing well. Raducanu in the highest at a 280, and they're all winning. We're going to see a finals with all three of these players. I think we did have a fourth? No, just the three. 2 final victories. Raducanu getting a win in the 280. Yemafanova getting a win in the 140. Excellent job this week. We had, let's see, finalist. Doesn't say title. Actually, it was Krager. Krager wins the title. Yemafanova took second overall. Kasanseva was in the semis for the same tournament and losing. Goff made it to the round of 16 in her tournament, and that was the 281 because Raducanu won that tournament. That's an excellent job for her because you can see what it did for her rankings. We're now looking at everyone in the top 40 right now. That is fantastic. The one who needs to make the biggest move, though, that has struggled a little bit to start this season is Corey Goff. And with a big Premier 1000, we've got everybody involved in the tournament this time. Some early buys for our higher-seeded players sees Montgomery already in the second round. Raducanu was able to get through round number 1, but could not get through the second round. Meanwhile, Yemafanova was able to get through both the first round and the second round with a huge upset against the 4th-ranked player in the world. That is massive. It's Ayala that she has in round 32. Ayala now up into the top 30 as well. I think when we left off with Ayala was about 10 positions lower than that, give or take. So she has shown continued progress since we left her behind, but we know she wasn't that far from her potential at that stage. Krager with a disappointing first round loss. The opponent that beat her, though, on a bit of a run to get into the round of 32 thus far. Gasanseva into round number 3 at this stage. Frifertova and Andreescu also moving on. And you can see both Montgomery and Goff into the second round, yet to play that round. Both favorites, but Katrina Scout standing in the way of Goff on getting into that round of 32. That's going to be a tricky match. This one should be pretty easy for Montgomery, and you would think the next round is certainly winnable as well. Playing against the number 22 ranked player in the world in that round of 32, we get a victory. The round before this was quite easy. This one took 3 sets to do it, but we do get there in the end. 52% of overall total points won, 64 winners to 58. Unforced errors, awful. No wonder it was close. 31 unforced errors to just 13. Really poor day for Montgomery. Goff lost a Scout in that round of 64, by the way, and that continues her really poor run here recently. Yemafanova losing in straight sets, but keeping it at least close to the number 23 ranked player in the world. And you can see from the ranking and seeding, all of the top 23 are present. Kasanseva somewhat close against Andreescu, but she is knocked out in the round of 16 as well, leaving us only Robin Montgomery left in this tournament. She's going to have a difficult path going forward as Swiatek is potentially in the next round, and certainly not an easy match from here. Top 30 are always capable of getting a win. In fact, all time, just 1 in 3 against this Chinese opponent. 6-2, 6-2 though, so she will not beat us this time. 33 total winners to just 21, and only 5 unforced errors. Total opposite of what we did in the previous round, and you can see how that resulted in a very quick, very easy victory, winning 58 out of 90 points. In what will definitely be the closest match of any of the quarterfinals in terms of competition level, both players in the top 5. Yeah, this is not going to be easy trying to go up against Switek, but again, we're at that stage where we're certainly capable of winning, but I don't love our chances of making the semis. I do like our chances a little bit better in the semis, as Andriescu is slowly slipping down. Just 2-9 all time against Switek. That second win coming not too long ago, though. I think we started 0-7, I want to say, against Switek, and we're 2-2 the last 4 times they've played. Only quarterfinals. It is Premier 1000, but it's only a quarterfinal, so we will still simulate at this stage. I think we'll save a live action performance for finals, I would think, if we make it that far. 4-6-2-6, Switek has had the better of us for now a 10th time. That's the 12th time they've met, and I want to say that is probably the most we've ever met an opponent. I think she is the most commonly matched opponent we've ever had, and being 2-10 is definitely not a good record. 30 winners to 38, 17 unforced errors to 15, but only 43% of points won. So the additional match stats make it look like it was close. It was okay, competitive overall, though 43% is definitely borderline not close. I think that's kind of comfortable. It's kind of weird how Montgomery has won a Grand Slam. I want to say she's made the semifinals twice. So 3 great Grand Slam performances, and yet Premier 1000, I'm not even sure she's ever even qualified for a semifinal. We haven't done a ton of those. There's not that many on the calendar, so sample size maybe a little smaller could have something to do with it, but still, that's the one obstacle that remains looming over us. Sports Center upgrade is complete. It's now at level 7, and for that, our maximum team size has grown by 1, so we do have the opportunity to go in and find another athlete. And it's only May, so I don't think I want to wait until January to do that. We might take a look at our options right away. Meanwhile, the next upgrade, very easy when we're sitting on almost 12 million. No new player. This is 2 trainer slots to go from 7 to 8. Looks like it might cap out at 8 once you get the final level. Looking through my scouting reports, there's nobody in particular that really stands out. In fact, Katrina Scout, who didn't want to sign with us earlier, but only had 3.5-star potential anyway, and is now mid-20s, and therefore already through a lot of her development. Outside of that, are going for one of the top 5 or 10 players in the world just to get some Grand Slam wins. In terms of options, there's not a lot out there. So, looking further, the next gen finals, Yamafanova is crushing the competition in that. So that tells me that there's no other young players right now that are already really good and have some sort of high potential. I've picked to scout a lot of them, but we haven't gotten to it yet. So then, looking at the youth ranks, all I've been scouting is a whole bunch of young, mostly American players trying to get to know. But there's so many American players, and even though I have a bunch of scouts, we just can't get through them all. So I've spent kind of a couple years floundering, looking at all the young American prospects, not finding any other than Yamafanova. So we found one diamond in the rough thus far. But anyway, looking at the junior rankings and the push for the junior finals, there's one standout performer here for 2 reasons. Charmaine Shiyisqua, Singaporean? I guess it would be Porian, right? Anyway, from Singapore. There you go. Anyway, she is standout for 2 reasons. One, she is substantially higher than anybody else in terms of points. Yeah, okay, she's played 16 tournaments, but virtually everybody on this list, bar one, has 12 plus. Most of them have 13 plus, so 16 is not like she has some sort of massive advantage. And remember, you're only going to get X amount of points through tournaments. X number of tournaments, once you get over a certain level, just don't count. And then it just takes your best totals. So, okay, she's got a slight advantage there, but still, she's 700 points clear of the closest challenger. She's 1,500 points clear of all but a handful. But more importantly, every single player on that list is 17 or 18, bar one. That's the bigger thing to me. She's only 16 and already better than everybody else in the junior ranks. For that, we're going to take a shot in the dark on this player. See, she struggles indoors. She hasn't played grass yet, but she has a good win ratio. She has already won a junior girls Grand Slam, and this is it. I mean, she's a newbie. She is a first-year player. She's a first-year player, and she's already ranked number 2 in the junior rankings, and you can see from the road to the finals, she's already on top, as in she is outscoring everybody else. And this is still a novice with level 1 fame. So we're going to take a shot in the dark and sign Charmaine Squaw. Next up, we are in Rome for a Premier 900, and the usual suspects are getting through the rounds. Same sort of players that we see on a typical basis. Goff has certainly a doable path to get to the round of 16, and an always beatable Osaka, who is finally starting to slide down the rankings just a little bit, sitting in third now. Krager with a disappointing first round loss, but it was to Frifritova. Montgomery, after first round bye, has Merwins in the round of 32. Not the easiest second round match, and we'll definitely not have the easiest third round match either, so a little bit of a difficult draw for her. Kasanseva has Ayala in the second round, with an opportunity, if Raducanu can pull an upset, to have a intra-team matchup. I guess it would be inter-team matchup in the round of 16. We've only ever played Merwins once, surprisingly. 33-year-old. I mean, this is a player that's been around for a very long time. 16th, she just jumped 7 spots in the rankings, up from 23rd, where she was last time we saw her up against a teammate. I think she had a deep run in that. And yeah, they've only ever played each other once. Really surprised by that. 6-1, 6-3. We are through to the next round. 46 winners to 28. 16 unforced errors to 15. 59% of the points won. Raducanu was not able to get the upset, but everybody else was through. Goff, really difficult round. Nice. After the upset, we have a very doable round of 16. Kasanseva, difficult against the number 4 ranked player. I want to say that I scouted Mogui a long time ago and was about a 3-star player, both current and potential wise. So this is actually the first time that they've ever gone head to head. It's a series of firsts or seconds so far in this tournament. 6-2, 6-3, we continue on. 63% of points won, with 42 winners to 15. 10 unforced errors to 9 is pretty balanced and definitely a good number. You'll take 10 out of 102 points. Just 10% of the time is acceptable. And Squaw has signed the dotted line, so we will sign that contract. We'll get Squaw in momentarily. We'll take a look at her. I'll wait till after the tournament to see where she's at and start getting her set with staff members as soon as possible. Ruakina has already knocked off Raducanu and Kasanseva in the first 2 rounds. Will she make it 3 for 3 by knocking off Montgomery, or will we make it 2 tournaments from 2 where at least one of my athletes were able to knock her out along the way? At Premier 1000, I want to say that it was Krager who beat her last time out with the upset. Maybe not. I think Krager was knocked out a little bit earlier. Regardless of what happens in this one, the semifinals would be a difficult matchup with either Andreescu or Swiatek in the semis. And Frifritova, the only unranked player who made the quarterfinals, is out after Osaka beat her. And you've got a 1-3 matchup on the other end. This, a difficult tournament. We're looking at top 6 players in the world, all in the remaining 6 positions, the 6 finalists at this point in the tournament. Just 1-4 all time against Ruokina. Let's see if we can make that 2 wins from 5. Not quite. Just about. 6-1 in the opening set. Very comfortable there. And then barely beaten in each of the subsequent 2 sets to get knocked off. We won 54% of the points and do not move on. 63 winners to 42. Do not move on. 27 unforced errors to 21. That's just about the only stat that was not favorable and probably the difference. So I took over training this week for Yemafanova, put in 3 or 4 speed trainings, and just like that, she gained 58%. Wow. Wow. It could be more than that. She could be already partway into that next level, which is level 9. She's still in the single digits, but speed has been a real issue. And that's about the 3rd time that I've intervened, and I think we've gotten the level all 3 times. So she's gone from a 6 to a 7 to an 8 to a 9 in just 3 weeks worth of focused, heavy speed training. So the first look here at Squaw is, well, it's okay. It's okay. So she is 1.5 stars current. Her potential is somewhere between 3 and 4 stars. She has a standard development, which actually means she's probably not going to develop anytime soon. Her shot in the dark, I don't know. Looks like it might not have paid off terribly well. Of course, as a 16-year-old first-year player, her confidence, composure, killer instinct, and fighting spirit are all a bit low. It's her composure that is the serious problem, along with her confidence. But otherwise, tactically and focus, she's quite high. Balance is already quite high, but she is just beginning to get her footing in other places. Personality-wise, demanding, sensitive, and responsible. So 2 out of 3 are bad. Yeah, not a great signing. So this shot in the dark, I'd say, has not paid off, but previous ones certainly have. It's not a bad way to go if you don't know who to sign, going after the highest ranked young player or next gen player. It's always a decent way to go. This time, not a bad signing. It's not a terrible signing, but for our ambition, we were looking for something a bit better than this, maybe a bit further along. How she's gotten to the ranking that she has, well, winning that junior Grand Slam obviously picked her up a whole lot of points. But how she's managed to do that with this set of attributes, I don't know. I do not know. But 1.5 stars is still not terrible. I mean, I've looked at literally hundreds of players that were 1 star or below. And I have agreements in principle with 4 new staff members, a physio, a coach, and 2 trainers, all legendary level 9 categories. They're not necessarily going to go with the newbie, who is a bit of a bust. We will reshuffle the staff a little bit once they've all signed on, and probably put the weakest ones on the newbie as that one's going to be a bit of a pass. After upgrading the backhand accuracy, the next closest easy one is forehand accuracy at just a shade under 90%, so we will target that one next. So after going through and upgrading the staff, getting the new staff put in, here is how it looks. For Squaw, she's got the weakest of what we had. She doesn't have any of the new coaches, but you can still see that everything is 4 stars or better. And for the most part, this is what Krager had previously, as Krager was kind of the weakest one on the list. But you can see Raducanu now 5 stars across the board, except for 1 4.5 star category. Yemafanova has 4 stars across the board, except for 1 category. And no, I don't think I can get. Maybe I can. Where is Depay? Is no, just in this category, right? Yeah, so 1 4 star there, but Montgomery is 5 stars across the board. You have Goff with 5 stars across the board outside of a 4-star coach, and that could be one of her problems, why she's underperforming at least slightly. You can see 5 stars for Kostenseva everywhere except for her trainer, who is 4.5. And even Krager now has seen a bit of an improvement with 3 5-star coaches, a couple 4.5-star coaches working with her, and an overall 4-star coach themselves. As a whole, the team has really good staff, really good support, multiple coaches working with them in various categories to get the most out of their training sessions. And that's what we like to see, because money was an object for a long time and we had some really, really weak staff. Now it's polar opposite. Money's no object, so we get the best. We get the best of the best, and it shows. Our training sessions have been good, especially when they're focused. When I intervene and pick out a couple things to work on, they see rapid progress. And that's been good, because we're seeing so much more success than what we saw earlier on in this series. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.